It's giving beehive, right? Hi guys. So don't worry, I know I look plain Jane-ish. However, this is the start before the turn up. So my birthday is in a few hours. At midnight, your girl will be officially 29 and fine. So nails is done, hair is done. I'm praying everything goes good. I'm praying I have a good birthday. Praying I enjoy myself, be around the people that I love, all of that good jazz. But I just wanted to make this quick video just to do a self-reflective of 28. So this year has been something. And when I say has been something, I mean has been something. So literally, like, between I don't know how to word this. It's a lot. So mentally, emotionally, spiritually, it has been a very, very interesting year for me, to say the least. A very, very interesting year. So I had to end a relationship for my own, you know, my own peace of mind. I had to remove people from my life for peace of mind. I had to reset my thinking trajectory. Like, when I say 28 has been very interesting, like how they say, like, the closer you get your light bulb is supposed to come on, I think it's starting to come on. So the light is slowly turning on, getting brighter and brighter. We're right now in the phase of screwing it in really tight. So it's just, what this year taught me as far as myself, I would have to say learning to be okay, learning to fall in love again with myself. Yep, learning to fall in love again with myself. Um, like I said, I had got out of a relationship last year around this time frame, a month prior before actually. So this whole time literally I've been by myself. So um wasn't dating anybody, wasn't talking to anybody. Like, real life have been by myself, to myself. And how a lot of people say, oh, I don't know how you could do it. Oh, you must be lonely, you must be miserable. No, honestly, I feel like that's a learning process for everybody. Everybody handles it differently. But I feel like in order to be happy with somebody else, you first have to know how to be happy by yourself. And don't get me wrong, I've always been happy by myself. I've never actually been like in like full on relationships. Like, he was like the only one he was like my first real relationship. So it wasn't like I'm not used to not being by myself, but this was the first time in my adult life that I had to relearn myself as an adult. Because I knew how to be by myself as an adolescent, as a minor. But to be by myself in that headspace as an adult. Because we were together for most of my 20s. Literally. Got together when I was 21. Broke up when I was 27, turning 28 in with the month after. So, literally, he was all the hell I knew. So, so in this year time span, I have been learning to fall in love again with myself as a woman, not as a little girl, not as a teenager, but as a woman. And the things that I found out about myself were surprising and shocking and while I was happy of some things I discovered, I wasn't happy about other things. But it helped me learn, okay, what to do, what not to do, this, that, and the third. So the second time around, when I finally do come across somebody, I'm going to let that person come to me. I'm going to let God bring that person to me instead of looking for them. Because when you go looking, you always end up with frogs. And I'm not calling him a frog because he wasn't, he's not a bad man. It's not a bad man. We'll never throw dirt on him. It's just, we weren't compatible like we were making it, like we were trying to be. As much as we tried to be, I wholeheartedly don't think we were meant to mesh in that space, if it makes sense. We weren't meant to mesh like that. So, again, not a bad man, but I just don't think we were meant to mesh like that. So, there was that. Then it was learning to be comfortable in my skin. I think I've talked about it a few times on here. I grew up very uncomfortable in my skin. I didn't like my tummy. I didn't like my back fat. I didn't like my muffin top. I didn't like my face. I didn't like my nose. I didn't like me, basically, okay? I just didn't like me. I did not like me. Whoa. Not leaves falling from the tree over time. Hold on now. Okay. But I didn't like me. So I really had to have an epiphany moment and like stand in the mirror and just talk to me, but talk to my spirit me. Not flesh me. Talk to my spirit me. And just get to the root of what about me was I not liking? Why didn't I like me? Why didn't I love me like everybody? Why didn't I love me the way everybody thought that I loved me? So there was that. And I've come to, still learning, but realizing I was in love with the idea of what I wanted people to think when they saw me. So what, in my mind, how they perceived me is what I wanted to feel, but I didn't feel that because it's perception that I made up in my head that was not true. So if that makes sense what I'm saying. So I had to learn to be in love with me for me. Not what I want people to think about me, not to be in love with the notion of how people perceive me. I want to love me for me. Me. God made me this way for a reason. So obviously I'm supposed to love me for this reason. And whatever the other reasons are that he gave me the way to look the way I look. And to be comfortable in it. And not to be cocky, but it's like once you break down the layers of that and have a little cocky moment about it, it's like, girl, it's people going to the doctors to get what God gave you naturally. What are you complaining about? Like, like, what are you crying about? This girl's going under the knife for what you have. Like, come on now. Boom. So, and you're complaining and you're whining because of a little stomach. Girl, bye. So now it's like, okay, so I guess a good way to mesh this down. Okay, so when I would go out with my girlfriends and stuff, and all the guys would be talking to them, I used to feel so insecure. I used to feel so like they of course they're talking to them because they're skinnier than me. They're more built than I am. Da 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 da. To now, after going through my crying phase and getting it all out and this, that, and the third, to now where it's like, I don't even care if they're not looking in my direction. I mean, I was never caring to begin with, but now it's like, okay, I'm ready for my next drink. Like, So learning to be comfortable and content with my body, and learning to be comfortable in my skin, flaws, fupa and all, just being content in it, because nobody's going to love you the way God loves you. I accidentally gave away my hairstyle, but my stylist Slade, I'm gonna tag her in it later. It was really starting to hurt, y'all. I think I tied it too tight. So I think I tied my hair too tight. But there was that lesson that I learned at 28. And then also, I think the biggest lesson that I learned, well, there's multiple big lessons, but I think one of the biggest lessons that I learned, my bad, y'all. Okay. So one of the biggest lessons I learned, 28, learning to open my mouth. Learning to open my mouth. And when I say that, I mean speaking up for myself. I would be the type, if something was bothering me or I felt uncomfortable with how you said something to me, or comfortable with the situation, I wouldn't really say anything. I would just keep my mouth shut out of fear of not wanting to ruffle feathers. So now now I'm at a place where it's like, nobody says you had to be confrontational, because I'm not a woman who likes confrontation. I don't like fighting unless I wholeheartedly have to put hands on you. I'm not going to put hands on you. However, I am going to tell you about yourself. I'm telling you about yourself, but I'm going to tell you in a respectful manner, but I'm going to still be firm about it to get my point across to you. And in the same breath, if something is uncomfortable to me or I don't like it, I'm going to say something. Like, I would talk to guys here and there. I was trying to get in the dating scene a little bit, like talk to people here and there. So like, if they would come out of their mouth sideways to me, didn't have to be, well, yeah, that is disrespectful, but if like they were coming like too sexual or something to me, sometimes I just wouldn't say anything, because I just didn't know how to approach the topic of you're making me uncomfortable. So I would just LOL it, in the text messages and stuff like that, and just never respond to it. But now it's like, hold on, bro, I'm not that type of woman. I've never been that type of woman. You talking to the wrong woman if you think that's the type of time that I'm on, and you making me uncomfortable. So if this is all that you want to talk about, you could delete my number and all of that right now. I ain't got time for it. And I've eliminated so much bullshit because of that. That's probably the greatest lesson that I learned out of this. Like, well, one of the few, let me say that. You can remove so much unnecessary bullshit when you just open your mouth. And that applies to dating, that applies to family, that applies to work. Like, I've eliminated so much crap by just opening up my mouth and saying what it is. Like, you pissing me off. I don't really appreciate how you doing this, that, and the third. Your energy's throwing me off. So you can do one or two options. You can either fix this, or you can remove yourself. Or I'm gonna remove myself. But yeah. So I feel like that's one of the most important lessons I learned, because my whole life, y'all, I've always been quiet. Like, I know this sounds really hard to believe because of the videos and silly little stuff I do on my TikTok and my Instagram and stuff like this, but I'm actually very introverted by nature. So if I'm bubbly and this, that, and the third with you, that means I'm comfortable with you. That means I'm comfortable enough to be myself. And that's something else that I've learned in my 28th year on this earth. To just be comfortable with myself, to just express myself no matter who's looking, who's paying attention, and who's going to say what. Like, the little silly stuff that you see on my Instagram, the silly reels and the silly videos and my reactions and this, that, and the third, that's literally my persona. That's my persona. That is me 24/7. This is me. But I just always been shy and nervous to show it to the world because I was too worried about who was looking, who was paying attention, who was going to say something, who was going to. So now, in my 28th year of living, I've learned it's to help with what they think. I could care less about who needs to see my stuff is going to see it. Whoever needs to receive the message from whatever video I post is going to receive the message. My message ain't for everybody. My content ain't for everybody. And that's perfectly okay. But whoever this needs to reach, God will make sure that it reaches them. And I'm perfectly content and okay with that. I am silly. Yes. I am goofy. Yes. I don't take myself too seriously. Life is too short. This world is so scary. This world is so dangerous. Everything is just, the clock is really winding down on this earthly realm. It really is. And people are acting like they don't want to believe it, but it is true. It is true. We do not have much time left. So I'm going to make the most of what time we have left in this realm. I'm going to make the most of it. So I'm silly. I'm goofy. I love to laugh. I love to dance. I love to have fun. I love to make people laugh. I want to make people not cry, but I want you to understand that I'm a human being just like the rest of y'all. So I'm going to tell you all of me. The transparency. I'm going to tell you the good. I'm going to tell you the bad. I'm going to tell you the ugly. I'm going to tell you the beautiful. And I slowly but surely, throughout this past year, I've been getting comfortable with telling that there were certain aspects of my life that I didn't want to tell out of fear of who was paying attention and who was looking and what family members was going to say this and what family members. This is my story. The story times that I do and the things that I posted, these are my stories. This is my life. These are my experiences that I've had that I want to share with the world. And you may not have to like it, but those are my experiences. And I have a right to talk about my life and my experiences. So you can either get on the train or you can get off of it, but it is what it is. So, but the transparency, I would say, is another one. Again, being comfortable with myself, opening up, talking about things that I didn't really think I would ever talk about. My healing series, which I have to get back up on because I think I've only posted like one video. So yeah, like talking about my mental and my spiritual health and my physical health, and talking about childhood trauma that made my mind warp the way that it was and trying to break out of it, talking about my mother's passing, talking about growing up homeless, talking about living in a shelter for a little bit. Like these are my experiences. Transparency, these are my experiences that I want to talk about. And at one point in time, I was never comfortable about talking about any of that out of fear of being judged. But now I've learned through my 28th year, it is okay to talk about your life, your experiences. Like I said earlier, who needs to hear the story, God will make sure that it reaches their ears. It will make sure that this video reaches their eyes. So I'm not at all concerned anymore about who sees it, what you take from it is what you take from it. But this is my story to tell, and ain't no cards about it. So those are things that I've learned in my 28th year that really have just molded me a lot to be able to be prepared for the 29th. What is going on over here? Sorry, y'all. I can't see what's happening. I was trying to see what was going on, y'all. Hold on. Is that the doggy? What's over in the corner? something is right here. Another transparency moment because I'm trying to be nosy, but the black girl lady's about to get the fuck. So okay. Guess it wasn't nothing that serious, but okay. So I guess another probably I could talk about. Yeah, let me walk around a little bit. And an interesting note, like I said, just being comfortable in my skin, cause let me just word it like this: a year or some ago, y'all would have never got no video with no clip that looked like this. Okay. Y'all would have never gotten a video with a clip that looked like that. I don't know. Is that my water? What happened right there? Okay. Anywho, I guess the last thing I want to say, probably my last little words I'm gonna say, and then I'm gonna get off of here, is I've learned just to be me, unapologetically. I hope I said that right. I feel like I said that right. I hope I did. Look. I've learned to be me unapologetically, flaws and all. So I've learned to love harder. I've learned to keep my eyes and my ears open. I've learned to be more sympathetic, more empathetic. I've learned so much. It would take me like multiple videos in order to say everything that I've learned, but I've learned to be a better human being. Love more, laugh more, love more. It's in my description of my channel. So I've learned to be comfortable with myself. I'm not gonna say content because there's always room for improvement, but I've learned to be comfortable with myself all the way around the board. And all the lessons that God has given me this past year, the good and the bad, all the people that I've encountered, the good and the bad, work-wise, dating-wise, friendship-wise, like, I'm grateful for all of it. And I am excited to see what year 29, what chapter 29 holds for me. So that's all I got to say. That's all I got to say. So thank you guys for, oh, that is something. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for this past year, for watching me, for liking my stuff. I don't do it for views. I don't do it for the clout. I don't do it for attention. Like, who sees my stuff sees my stuff. Who's meant to see it is meant to see it. So I'm literally doing this for fun, but also as therapy for myself, and also just to reach whoever needs to see it. So for those who have watched my content, even as inconsistent as I was with everything going on in my life, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for participating, watching my TikToks, watching my reels, thank you guys so much. I'm always open to criticism. I'm always open to constructive criticism. I'm always open to new ideas. So I'm not the type where you can't leave a comment or asking maybe you should work on this. I'm always open to all of that. So please, like I always say, leave a like, comment, subscribe, give feedback, feed into me like I want to feed into you guys. So thank you guys for coming along with me, my 28th year, And I expect to see all of you guys for chapter 29. So this is my last video for year 28. And I will see you guys again when your queen here is 29 and fine. So peace and blessings, and always remember, preheat the oven to 350 because that's just what we do. Okay. All right, love you guys. Bye. Peace and blessings. Mwah.